it just, audio, everything just wasn't working. So I'm assuming that perhaps I wasn't supposed to upload it, or maybe the message was genuinely for me. But also I'm thinking that perhaps I need to switch gears and learn to let things go, and no longer dwelling and I don't want to say like I'm dwelling, but no longer focusing on the past and what had occurred, even though I feel like the past does help with a need of understanding and knowing how you can learn from the past. But I think I'm supposed to shift into abundance. It's like I don't want to sit in a space of coulda, shoulda, wouldas and focusing on the things that others have done to me. And I do know it's a bit uneasy to still be in spaces due to my circumstances of having to communicate with others who I know have done and brought me a great deal of harm. But I think everything has its lesson within each situation. And what I did want to mention is that I was listening to this sermon, and I'm no pastor, I didn't go to school or anything for theology, so I'm therefore no theologian. But I do believe in scripture, and I do believe that advice and guidance can come from those that you'll never, expect, someone that can be totally different from you. But I will never get on here and make it seem as if my word is, of God. You know what I mean? Like, what I mean as in, I am not God, so therefore I don't sit and think of myself at a high honor on that level. I'm grateful for the connection that I have with God, and I'm grateful for the fact that I can, I don't want to even say drop gems, but more so leave breadcrumbs. And it's like we go through these moments of enduring, and there's these trials and tribulations, and we do our days in the wilderness. And a lot of people, once they come out of that, either for good or bad in results, they don't really drop the breadcrumbs in order to help others through their pathway. They more so talk about other things, because it's like once you get into that space of abundance, you're in that space of abundance. And yes, you can pull from your days in the street of the wilderness and the trials and tribulations and the endurance of the test, but how are you helping others when it comes down for them to have to take that walk, for them to have to connect when they go into the wilderness? And that's what I felt that I wanted to really touch base on, which is more like documenting the process and the effects that the trials and tribulations have on you, because I feel like what I went through and what I still am going through can help someone else in the process. So, and when I was watching the pastor talk about it online, I was like, man, everybody has their route, like everybody has their direction, everybody has their connection. Others may be more focused on just scripture 24/7. Others might more so focus on the spiritual gifts that they are intact with, or others may blend it together. But I do feel like there's like levels to it. There's a process of where the word is your source, right? The word, well, God is your source, but the word is like what you're eating. You are digesting the scriptures, right? It becomes one with you because it's within you as you are reading it and consuming it. But your body, your vessel, takes on different experiences because of what you're consuming. And I myself had to check myself as in connecting with other energies to kind of find some type of, I don't even say I'm out here finding or looking for a tribe. I just, it's more in need of wanting to be in the mix of like-minded individuals. It's like, it's almost when you think about like when you're at a job and this can be your dream job, but the environment is toxic. Like the environment is surrounded with individuals who are not like-minded like you, who are not strong creatives, but more so like the enjoy the amenities that comes with being in these positions. And then for a flicker of a moment, we have weekly meetings, where you get to communicate with other creatives that are in the same position as you, but in different locations within that organization, within that company. And it feels good because now, it's like you have all these artistic, creative beings in one place, and the energy is like it makes me think like when a child is like hyped off of sugar and like his friends is in the house with him and he's just running amok and he's just so excited, or like a child's birthday party and you just have all your friends in, everything's just cool, look aesthetic, and you're just so happy. That's what it feels like to me when I'm surrounded by divine individuals, divine beings, high creative, high vibrating people. And then when you're not, it places you in a position of like, oof, you're in protection mode. But that's neither here or there. But what I really wanted to touch base on was the 5 crowns and also a virtuous woman. So let me pull up the scriptures. Okay, so the crown of life. Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him. James 1:12. And be faithful even to the point of death, and I will give you the crown of life. Revelations 2:10. Crown of righteousness. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for this appearing. 2 Timothy 4:8. Crown of glory. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never fade away. 1 Peter 5:4. Incorruptible crown for imperishable. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. 1 Corinthians 9:25. Crown of joy. For what is our hope, our joy, our crown? For what is our hope, our joy, or the crown in the presence of Lord Jesus at his coming? What indeed? You are our glory and joy. 1 Thessalonians 2:19. Virtuous. Having or showing high moral standards. Virtuous woman. Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. Proverbs 31:11. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. Proverbs 35:15. She also rises while it is yet night, and provides food for her household and a portion for her maidservants. Proverbs 31:20. She extends her hand to the poor, yet she reaches out her hand to the needy. Proverbs 31:30. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but the woman fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Proverbs 12:4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. Ruth 3:11. And now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you all that you request, for all the people in my town know that you are a virtuous woman. So, yeah. So I would say, I want to say know your place, but I would say, yeah, know your place. And also what I'm feeling is the goose that lays the golden eggs. And it was all meant for something, you know? Even though, okay. And I believe that's probably why I wasn't able to like upload anything. Like I had everything set. You see, because I wasn't supposed to talk about that. I think that was supposed to be for me, I guess, in some weird type of way. Because like I was supposed to not only say let go of the pain, or let go of the trials and tribulations, but I would say more so appreciate the fact that you were able to endure for so long, and know that in the mix of it all, you stood on business. Like you actually came up toe to toe with demons and, you know, the devil himself. And you stood on faith. And you allowed your faith to be your shield and your shield to be your faith. And that's really, really dope. And it's like I was saying before, like, you know, you got this and maintain your vibe. But it's hard to harness and hold that fire within you, you know, and the level of control. And I think that's so dope on its own, because it's like you are harnessing your own fire. You know, you're being taught how to tame your beast, you know, tame your impulses, tame your lust, tame everything. It's like I would say, like, why is this so necessary for the trials and tribulations? But the trials and tribulations are necessary. It teaches you how to learn how to lead. Like, you think, well, I was already born with this crown, but you were, because you're royalty and it's part of your inheritance, but now you've earned it, you know? Like, imagine receiving something and not working for it. And usually what we see with individuals who gain something or have something given to them, they don't really appreciate it, you know, because everything had been handed over to them. When you look at individuals who are used to always receiving due to the fact that that's what they just used to, in the sense of they never had to work for anything, everything was always given to them, it doesn't build character. It's like, I was having a conversation with a gentleman the other evening, about the ways or the woes of maintaining and dealing with so much pressure when you're so young and you have so many people relying on you. And it's like you already stepped into manhood or womanhood or adulthood because of the amount of responsibilities that you have. And when I look back at my early days and how I was working at such a very, very early age, and I had a lot of responsibilities on my shoulders, and it didn't stop. But like I was saying to him, is that it places you in the position of seeing how strong you are. And even though you may feel like you didn't have much of a childhood, or your childhood was kind of snatched away from you, it builds you. Like, it builds your character, it builds your stamina, it builds your mindset, it this world, and it builds you at a very strong level of emotional intelligence. And I feel like some of us have been down here for so long, we keep incarnating over and over and over, whereas in our body may be young, but our soul is old, because we've been here so many times. And then I ask myself, I'm like, geez, when do we have to keep going through this? But it's kind of like God will bring in his strongest soldier, because he knows that you're going to be able to embody what he needs you to embody. He knows that you're going to be able to shift the frequency. He knows that you're going to be able to accomplish the purpose that he's set you on this mission for. And so he set you out here to do what you need to get done, and he knows that you're going to complete it. And the crown can be heavy, but it's like you've been prepared for it. And that's what I was telling him. I was like, this is all preparing you for something so much greater. And like I was saying to him, I said, in the moment of it, it's very stressful because there's a lot of responsibility. But in the process of it, it's like you're already in a groove, and it builds you. And I believe that's why the audio and everything wasn't working for me to upload everything with the graphics, because I was sitting in the energy of the responsibility and the weight of the crown, and I wasn't appreciating the fact that I wasn't sitting in gratitude. How does one become a great leader? One becomes a great leader when he first understands what it is to serve. And even when we look at like the military and the level, like in this in this planet, how we hold them in great honor, because you're sacrificing your own life for the will of others that you don't know. You're going into service, and you don't know what the outcome is going to be, and you're doing something so noble. So in order to be a virtuous woman, in order to be able to receive the crowns of heaven, there is a sacrifice that you're doing, and that sacrifice is you giving up the need of wanting to participate in the fun side, I guess they would say, but more so in a side of not nobility, in a side of not serving, in a side of no honor. And there's nothing wrong with individuals who come down, incarnate, and they're just playing and enjoying, because everybody has a purpose. Like I was saying the other day, I was like, it's just that we all scripted into whomever script we want to be in. You can be scripted into the devil's, screenplay, or you can be scripted into God's screenplay. And if you want God to be the director and you want to be down on his scene, then therefore you play your part and you make sure that you are perfect with it, and you're at a level of knowing your role and sticking to that. And if your role means that you only have one line, or you're a supporting actor, or you're the protagonist, or you're a main star, then that's your role, and that's what was given to you. And I know you're like, oh, we have free will. Yeah, we do have free will. You can decide to jump ship and don't be about your purpose. You can decide to walk away from your mission. You can become AWOL. But I think that's the whole point of the tests, the trials, and the tribulations, and the days in the street of the wilderness, because it builds your character. It builds your faith. And I was just speaking to someone about that this evening, last night, because it's the morning now, but about trials and tribulation and endurance and faith, and how you look at your circumstances and you want to lean on your own understanding, but God will sit you down and humble you very quickly, because he wants to be the provider. He wants you to see that he's the source. And it's crazy because it's like when you look at your trials, and I look back at my trial and tribulation, and I'm still within it, and I think back to like 5 years ago, and I'm like, that was death. Like, that was some scary stuff. But what it was demons really manifesting in a human form and really possessing individuals and really coming for me. And I did not understand it at that time. And I think back to so many individuals who thought that they were going crazy, but they really wasn't. It was their spiritual test. It was their trials and tribulations. It was their 40 days and nights in the wilderness. It was their 40 years in the desert. And it sucks because it's like, you would think that you can go to church and they can really teach you, but they're not really. I don't want to say they're not, because I don't know what every church is teaching, and I don't know what every pastor is teaching, but it's just easy to get so focused on the physicality of this reality, and you lose the concept and the sight of the fact that all this is really spiritual. And you can fall deep into the rabbit hole thinking that what you see is true, but really it's the connection that you have with the Most High, with the highest of the high, and that's what's really saving you. It's your faith that's really shielding you. Is you standing on business regardless of what is coming towards you and what you have endured. And those crowns, those heavenly crowns, are needed out here. And if you can stand the test of the trials and tribulations and endure it, how lucky are you? How righteous are you? How grateful will anybody be to be in your presence? And then when I look back at the whole virtuous woman, anybody will want. That's what go back to when I say that the golden goose lays the goose that lays the golden eggs. Imagine being near someone who, as soon as you come within their presence, is peace, is love, is prosperity, is exuberating this inner light of love and joy and just beautifulness. Like this it's like the virtuous woman is really his daughter. Like, he's really has placed his light, his soul, his being, his spirit in the virtuous woman, and she's just prosperous no matter what she touches. It's like she has the Midas touch, but in a good way. Like, everything that she does, anybody who's in her presence is literally abundant by just being in likeness or being near her. Imagine walking around with that type of embodiment of a frequency, that embodiment of energy. So when you think back, like, oh, this is crazy, these trials and tribulations, this responsibility, it would have not been given to you if God did not trust that you can handle it. If God did not trust and foresee that you will accomplish every mission and fulfill your purpose. And then you walking around with that type of energy as a virtuous woman, then you got those 5 crowns, you got those crowns of heaven. You're like an embodiment of heaven on earth. Like, that is really dope on a whole nother level. So I say this to say, carry the weight of your crown and carry it with honor. And keep your head high, because to embody that's just amazing. Oh, I gotta get up. I love you. I said that in such a way where it seems like Like, it's questionable. Like, is that a question mark or is it an exclamation point? But no, I do. I truly do love you. And maintain that vibe. Like, you got this. You're dope. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're intelligent. You're just, your whole vibe on your own. Your frequency is just literally boiling high to the heavens. Like, you are everything and so much more. Like, your spirit is blowing up. Like, it's glowing. It's beautiful. It's this joyous empowerment of just inner light. You are literally embodying the sun. You're just dope. You're copacetic. You're gorgeous. You're smart. You're talented. You're fun. Your whole vibe. You are a whole vibe out here. And it's just joyous and amazing to even be in your presence. Well, you got this. Maintain your vibe. And I love you.